Welcome to the Emme Factor Live, a space where art of movement meets wisdom of the heart. My name is Em, and I am welcoming you to another live stream yoga class. I have promised that I would teach every single day at 12 o'clock for everybody who sits at home and is sequestered in right now. We are all doing our part, and my part is to meet you here at 12 o'clock. And here I am again. I am delighted if you are here, if you can watch this. Maybe you will watch this later at a replay. Welcome to another class. I have been teaching yoga for almost 27 years now. And I think my intention with these classes and with all my teachings is to find all the yoginis who actually want to dive a little bit deeper. I think that in the beginning of our yoga journey, we go to classes, and most of us learn yoga in a group class setting. And not private. However, yoga is a very, very personal journey, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And despite the fact that we all love the group classes, I think that if you start practicing regularly, you will notice that a lot of things that pertain to your story, your history, your journey, is not applicable to the yogini beside us. And so we have to make our practice personal. And the only way to create a personal practice is to dive a little bit deeper into understanding what we're doing on the mat, why are we doing this, and how this can teach me something about myself so that I can use these exercises and technique, the asanas, to further my own journey. So next level yoga for me is when you're ready and when you're coming to the point where you're starting to get a little more curious and say, I really want to understand what I'm doing. And if I'm honest, I do the best I can. I copy the postures, and I do it in a way where I give my best. However, I promise you, there is so much more out there. Yeah, there's an ocean of things to learn, and yoga can offer us these lessons, these nuggets. They are beautiful gems that actually have the power to change our life, to change your body, your posture, your mindset, to see things from a different lens, from a different angle. And I think that is important. And so I am looking for all the yogis who are ready to say, I want to dive a little bit deeper. I want to understand more. I want to understand myself more. And I want to start to ask questions. So, yes, ask questions. Even when you watch these classes here right now, yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know what is not clear. Let me know what you have learned. I don't want you to just do this with me. I want you to walk out of every class with me and have something that you are taking with you, something that has changed your yoga practice, even if it is just a tiny little turn, something that is super small that will create a difference where you start here, so that if you keep practicing that, you will over time end up in a completely different place. Yeah, that's the whole intention, and I am thrilled that you have found me. So everyone, welcome. Today we will be practicing with a chair. I have been trying in the past week every day to do something a little bit different, just to give you a glimpse of what yoga can be and how many different exercises there are to consider, and how the intention of what we want out of our practice changes with whatever tools or whatever accessories we use. Yeah. So if you haven't subscribed, be so kind and subscribe to the channel. I love to connect with you. I know there's this ocean of stuff right now out there, but if you learn something out of it, please share it with somebody else who maybe practices or is considering yoga. Definitely, we are not focusing on going into contortionists, postures. We are not creating an advanced dialogue and creating performance yoga. This is not what this is about right now and here in this moment in time. I'm using fundamental yoga training that helps you to move better. Yeah. So for everyone who feels that the body can use a little bit better ease in movement, strength, and who wants to learn how to do this even without somebody else guiding you all the time. This is what these classes are for. Okay, so let's start. Today we need a chair. This is a yoga chair. So you see that it's a regular folding chair, but it doesn't have a back. So the back is open because there are certain things that we can do when we actually sit with our legs through. Yeah, we're not going to do this today because I believe not all of you have this chair. You can use anything. Make sure that the seat is not too cushioned. So have a seat that even if it has a cushion over it, it's pretty sturdy and stable. Yeah, I want to show you one more thing. We will also need a blanket if you have one, or I also like to offer always a cushion for the knees or for our feet. Sometimes it's good to have that. Some of us are a little bony, so our bones, especially if you are on the ground where the surface is really hard. I have a hardwood floor here with a pretty hard mat, and I sometimes feel this in my elbows and in my joints. And so use help, absolutely. It's so much better than to be suffering or getting hurt or any blue spots or something. Okay, one more thing. I have another accessory here. This is a sand sack, and we use this in yoga often. It's basically a bag in a rectangular shape, and it's filled with sand. These are 10 pounds, so that's about roughly, 5-6 kilos. And we can put that on our body. Yeah, we can use these sand sacks to actually create a little bit more weight in certain positions. And I am happy to teach a little bit with those sand sacks too at another time. But today I want you, if you have that at home, I want you to put this around the lower edges of your chair so that you have a little bit of weight that will hold the chair. Yeah, so if you have something at home that can actually hug around the chair so that it gets a little bit more sturdy, it's just a measure of safety. Yeah, you don't have to have it. My preference would be that you have a mat and that you have the chair on the mat, if possible, on a harder surface. Certainly you can do this on the carpet, but it might be a little bit more wobbly. Yeah, so ideally on a mat, hard surface, chair, and maybe something to stabilize the feet, the lower part a little bit. If you don't have that, don't worry. Do your best, be diligent with how you move. We do not want the chair to be the place where we hurt ourselves. Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm going to take this away one more time. And we will be starting in a seated position on our chair today. So for everyone, and I keep repeating this in all my classes, for everyone who has difficulty sitting upright on the ground, yeah, which I want to share with you was very difficult for me in my early years. My hips are constructed in a way where sitting cross-legged is not a position that I naturally would have gone in then. This is many, many years ago, of course, yeah? But I remember my first years in yoga, I sat and my knees were kind of like up here, and everything was tense, and I tightened up, and I could barely focus on what the teacher wanted me to focus on. And I sat in class, and I looked around, and some people just plopped into this open position. And I want to give you permission to not sit in cross-legged position on the floor. That doesn't mean that you cannot learn this. Today, I sit hours in cross-legged position. This is a long journey where I have trained myself, but many of you are at a place. I want you to not sit in cross-legged position if it creates a lot of effort and discomfort in a way where you start to tense up. Yeah? I don't want you to do this. And the reason is our centering part of our yoga practice is for us to come inward, to come into a calm and balanced place. We can't do this if our hips, back, if our neck and shoulders are hurting. I know the people who sit effortlessly in that, they don't feel that. They don't feel the discomfort of how it feels when you can't do this. So, but I do know how it feels. I remember, and I didn't like it. And I just pushed through because everybody was doing it, and I just didn't know better. So in my classes, I would love for you to take a chair. Yeah? If you can sit on a chair upright with a lot more ease, I would rather you do that than sitting on the ground and being in tension and in pain. Yeah, I cannot highlight that enough, and I think it is not stressed enough in yoga classes. We just put everybody in the same class and we let everybody do the same thing. I don't think that's good enough. Yeah, so start with your seat, and maybe after class think about it. What could be my ideal seat when I do yoga? Is it cross-legged? If it is, wonderful. If it isn't, find a different position, and I'm here to help. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, today the feet are grounding into the ground. So I would love for you to really place the four corners of the feet. The big toe mound, the small toe mound, which is here below the pinky toe, and then 2 points in the heel. They are equally grounding. Yeah? Imagine you have these 4 points. You spread the toes, and they're equally grounding into the ground. My knees are on top of my ankles. I am sitting a little bit in the front of the chair. Yeah? I'm not sitting in the back. That gets me out of my hip tilt that I want. I want an anterior pelvic tilt, which is when my hip tilts forward. And this is another important part. Do you know how to tilt your hips? Have you ever thought about it? How does this work in all our asanas, the tilt forth and back? Yeah, so right now in here, while you sit down, just go back and forth a little bit. And when you lift up, when you tilt the hips forward, you can feel how you're starting to sit more on your sit bones, yeah, which are right there on the inside, all the way down in your bottom there. Right, everybody knows where the sit bones are. You can feel them when you sit on them. When you are tilted back, you actually don't feel them. You only feel the flesh of the buttocks. Yeah, so this is important, and this is not easy for everybody, so we have to train ourselves, and we will get better at this. Yeah, don't worry about not getting better. Focus on directing and controlling and understanding where we are going. Okay, so we're growing up. We are creating a little bit of a curve in the lumbar spine, just a bit, and from there the rib cage, the sternum is lifting up. And we're drawing the chin slightly in. I want you to think that the back of the crown of the head, this part up right up here, lifts up to the sky. And every one of us, every person, because we look at our phones. This is where our chicken, I call this the chicken head. The chicken head is. We all need to fight against that. And the best way to do this, I catch myself too all the time. Yeah, I can feel when I'm on the computer, my neck goes forward. But I have an awareness, I can feel it when my head is forward. My body signalizes to me, wow, this is not a good position. So I am lifting the sternum up, creating a little bit of an arch in my back, and I'm lifting up the back of the crown of the head. So yes, it is worth practicing that, not just now, but always. Okay, close your eyes. Have your hands on your thighs. Relax your fingers. Let the side of your elbows sink and hang beside your waist. We soften our face. Release the jaws. And see that you can relax all the tension in the jaw area, around our mouth, around our nose. Feel how your eyelids are very lightly covering your eyes. And notice if even the movement of your eyes can become still. Yesterday I talked about the tension in our facial muscles. If you have done that class with me, I want you to see if you can relax the muscles in the face. Feel the throat. Draw the chin in one more time. Feel your throat. Keep the sternum up high and breathe slowly and gradually deeper into your chest, rib cage, and abdomen. Gradually expand your breath and allow each breath to help us let go of our life and everything that needs to be done, everything that we will come back to once this class is finished. But right now, in this moment in time, make an effort to let go of it's almost like strings that are pulling on us. In earlier years, I used to use this metaphor of a camera. Remember that in a camera we have a part in the center, which is the focus part. That's the part that is sharp. And depending on what kind of lens you have, you can make the outside blurry and everything in the focus area is sharp. So I want you to see if breath by breath right now in here, slowly and gradually, you can put yourself into this focus area and allow the rest of your life that is all part of you to become a little blurry. And I do this by slowly and gradually focusing inward. What does that mean for you? How do you do that? To focus inward. All of these things, they sound so wonderful on paper. And we throw around these expressions and words a lot in yoga. But take one moment right now in here and ask yourself, what does that mean for me to focus inward? How do I really do that? Just ask yourself and see if something comes up. And slowly and gradually, keep deepening the breath a little bit more. Notice 4 distinct parts of your breath. The inhale, the part where the inhale turns around and becomes the exhale, which is the transition. Maybe this is a little pause, a super small pause. And then the exhale. And then after the exhale, the breath again turns around again. It transitions. We might have a little pause again, and then the inhale again. So I want you to feel all 4 parts, not just 2, 4 parts of breath. If your mind wants to pull you away, if there is nervousness that you can feel, if there is judgment, if there is a lot of activity, and I promise you, many of you will feel that, which is completely normal, yeah? There's nothing wrong with this, but I want you to see this and start to focus back onto the 4 parts of your breath. For most of you, this is not going to be just flipping a switch and just doing it. For most of you, this will require quite a bit of effort, and that's okay because we're training ourselves. So stay connected with your breath and feel the 4 clear different parts of your breath. Notice how they are. Notice their quality. Notice the tempo. Notice the length of each of those parts. Notice the depth and volume in it. Notice if this breath is flowing or if it is chopped up. Notice if these parts are connected or if they are disjointed. Just observe and see. There's so much to discover when you stay quiet and calm and when you focus. This is a focus exercise. Most of us have completely forgotten how to focus. Our world is a complete chaos of distractions. So there's no wonder we don't know how to focus anymore. We don't know. We don't know how this feels to focus for a few minutes on one thing. It's worth it to learn this again, to train yourself to focus. Good. And slowly, only open your eyes. Gaze forward, kind of like over the tip of your nose. And can you keep this focus even with your eyes open? Good. Keep that focus while we start moving now. All right. I want you to start rounding and arching your back. We tilt our pelvis back. This is called posterior pelvis tilt, and tilt it forward. And as a result, you will start to slowly create movement in your spine. See if you can do this slowly and deliberately, moving one vertebra at a time. So let your tailbone tuck under, your sacrum, Your belly pull in, round your lower back, middle back, upper back, shoulders, head and neck. And then start with your head again. Lift your head, shoulders, upper back, shoulder blades, middle back, lower back, sacrum and tailbone. And again, see if you can create a fluid movement. Most of us have parts that are movable and other parts that are a lot more limited in either range of motion. So when we practice cat and cow, this is exactly what we're practicing. And when you are in this cat position, I want you to really focus on your belly. Hold here for one moment. So tilt your pelvis back. Hold for one moment. Draw the navel in and keep breathing. Keep engaging. Keep squeezing the core in, yeah? Right up here. And bring your rib cage all the way down. Hold here for a moment. Stay there and see if you can breathe and expand into the back where your kidney area is all the way back. Wonderful. And then slowly lift up. Let's do this the opposite way. Lift up into a cow position. This is a cow. If I would be on all fours, this is my cow. Now, instead of just arching the lower back, don't focus on this so much. Focus on expanding the rib cage. If you just for a moment look at me, you can see how I'm actually expanding my rib cage forward. And as a result, my upper back elongates. And then I let my head expand and I don't crunch my neck. I feel this long stretch in my neck. We have done that yesterday. And then allow the shoulders by squeezing the shoulder blades together as far as you can to lift. Wow, that's a lot of work. Do you feel this? The reason why this is a lot of work is because you're inviting so many muscles to go into a deeper detail in what you're doing. Think about if we're only doing this really in a 10% way, if we're just kind of like going back and forth. But if you're starting to go deeper into that movement, you're raising the level of quality to 30%, 40%, 50, 60, 70, and you will create a completely different result. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know this looks easy on me here, and you'll probably look at me and think, oh, good for her. This is the result of a lot of training. Yeah, most of us have lost our capability in moving our thoracic spine as well as rounding the lower back. Don't worry about that. It's not about you being able to do this. Yeah, this is why I love to see you, because I need to help you to expand into this. The goal is not you to look at me and just kind of like give your best. The goal is for you to understand that there's a lot more to go, and that's what we're trying. So as a result of where you are today and practicing this daily with a little bit higher intensity like we are doing here, you will reap the benefit of eventually getting to better movement. And that's really what we want. Because if you move better, you will not only feel better, you will not get hurt, you will not be in tension and tightness as much, and movement will feel at ease, and that's exactly what we want. Yeah, this is how I want to grow old with good movements. Okay, side to side. So we are bending sideways. Yesterday we've been doing this in standing position. Today we're bending sideways. Now before you bend, I want you to grow and expand. And in this expansion, we let the left arm lower to the side, come back into this beautiful lengthened spine, and then bend down. Now start not too deep. Don't go too deep yet, because I want you to feel that you're staying completely in this plane. Think that you have a sandwich in the front and in the back. So you are right in between this wall. And the only movement that we can do is a side movement, a really clean side movement. Where would this be today? Yeah? And slowly, maybe breath by breath, exhale. You might be able to lengthen a little bit deeper. Now see that your legs and hips do not participate in this movement. This is a side bend in my spine. I am creating mobility in my spine. Side to side. Now notice again where your head is. Draw the chin in, yeah? All of us, all the time. Remind yourself of these things. Over time, you are changing your autopilot. You are changing the way how you move and how you move in a new habit. That's what we're working towards. And then slowly, last time, side should be almost touching the ground now. And other side, slowly lift up. Beautiful. Okay. Now, I want you to go towards the right side. And let me show you from the side. So we are turning to the right. And I want you to hold on onto your chair. You can hold on to the side or maybe on the outside. You can hold on behind your back. If you have a hole here like me, you can hold on to the back of the seat. Yeah, there's many ways and places to hold on to. The left hand comes to the outside. And instead of pushing, I would like it to open up. So rotate the left shoulder open. Just place the palm onto the knee and use the other arm to very slowly twist to the right. Now let's look one more time at the position. The important part is we can't do this tilting back, yeah? So I know you think I'm not doing this, but you might. So before we tilt, before we twist, lift up your hips one more time, anterior pelvic tilt. Lengthen through the back of the crown of the head. And there is where I'm turning. And then don't go too far yet. I want you to inhale and lengthen, and with your exhalation, twist a little bit deeper. Now, how much am I pulling with my arms? Not a lot. I am allowing my core to do this movement. And as you see here right now, my core is trained already to go further. Your core might allow you to go here. So I want you to use your arms very lightly to enhance the twist just a bit. We're still on the same side. And now comes the last part, which is our breath. We inhale when we back off a little bit. I want you to literally back off out of the movement. And exhale and twist a bit deeper. Inhale. Exhale. I hope you can see this. Inhale and exhale. Keep doing this. While you do this, I want you to feel the connection in your obliques on the right side and the left side as well, because those are the muscles that help us twist deeper. Yeah? And again, one more time. And see how far you can turn. Hold this position. See if you can extend the arms and don't pull. Yeah? This would mean that your passive and active range of motion is the same, and that's beautiful. Good. And slowly release to the other side. Oh, very good. I'm going to turn around, other side. All right, we're going to the left. Sit up tall and long. Turn to the left, and actually we can do this with our arms to the side. So notice how far you can twist with an upright torso actively. Good. And then the right arm with an external rotation in the shoulder, palm is facing up. The other arm wherever you can hold on to your chair, and see if you can use the chair to slowly and gradually go a little bit deeper. Inhale and exhale. Now, I am only moving my thoracic spine. I don't want your hips and your legs to shift as well. So as good as you can, try and see if the rib cage is the part that can twist. You could put your hands onto your rib cage here and actually see if you can twist. Yeah, very good. And twist. Good. And keep twisting. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now notice if this left rib cage up here, if it's sticking out, or if we can contract this a little bit. This creates much more of an activity in our obliques. So the last 3 times, really focus on here. These are the obliques up here on our side body. I want you to feel if you can reach, if these muscles can be the motivator, the activity of this movement. Good. And I'm still sitting upright, yeah? Still sitting upright, and slowly back to center. Ah, good, yeah? This is a wonderful way to create a little bit more depth and twist. This is a much cleaner twist in our thoracic spine than sometimes when we sit on the ground, yeah? All right, now let's fold forward. Open the legs really wide. I'm going to turn my chair in one moment. And we want to slowly lower in between our legs and fold down very slowly. So we're rounding our entire spine. Yeah? I hope you could see this. Let me turn the chair. Legs are wide open, and I'm coming with my rib cage and chest with my belly in between the chair. So slowly lower down, and then see if you can slowly, breath by breath, lower deeper. Now, the knees, they want to turn in. Don't let them. Let the knees be nicely wide on top of your ankles. So this creates a beautiful hip stretch as well. So slowly fold forward and allow the head, the arms, the neck, the shoulders to hang in between your thighs. And gradually we start to lower down. Inhale and exhale. And if you can see me, you can see that my breath can help this movement. So my inhale actually lengthens my spine a bit, and my exhale releases, and I can draw a little bit deeper. I'm not pushing, I am not forcing. My goal is not to actively go deeper. My goal is to allow this movement, allow my body to allow me to go there. So this is a little bit different in energy, yeah? If you change your mindset and think, it's not about how deep I go. It is about, can I get my body into a position where it allows me to go there? And if it doesn't, let's find out why. Let's look into why doesn't it let me do this? What do I need to do? And that's the personal dialogue that I always talk about. And then slowly roll up. You can use your arms to help yourself. Again, one vertebra at a time. Lift up your spine. Bring the arms to the back behind you and see if you can come into a light back bend. Open up your chest and slowly release into a seated position. Very nice, yeah? So those are deeper spinal movements, and the chair is wonderful. And it will totally help you when you're then doing it on the floor or in standing position and in your practice. Okay, so let's stand up and we are going to do one more stretch that I would love to show you today. And then we're going to relax. Okay, so turn the chair around. Remember the sand sacks that I have talked about in the beginning. I'm going to put them now on the lower part of my chair. You could also put something on your on the seat right now. I could put theoretically the sand sacks on the seat as well. So now take a blanket and actually put it over the edge of the chair. So we are doing a hamstring stretch. And what I want us to start is come from Tadasana, mountain pose. And lift up the right knee. So take your hands around the right knee and lift up. See if you can stand tall and long. Balance and slowly release down. Other side. Left leg lifts up. Do it slowly and deliberately. Lift up. Do you know how to do this? Can you balance on that one leg? Good. Can you engage your core? Can you keep the standing leg fully active, knee extended? A lot of work in the glute of that back leg and release. Okay, right leg lifts back up. And now see if you can extend the right heel and place it onto your edge of your chair. If not, don't worry about it. Just put it up with your heel onto the edge of your chair. Now, if you see me here, I've done this many, many times in my life, yeah? This is why it looks so kind of like in tune, because I've trained myself. I know the distance from the chair, I know how far, and all of this we need to learn. So I want us to see if we can stand with our hip right on top of the left foot. So we have a 90-degree angle. I don't want you to be too close, too far. And I would love us to lift our spine, just like we did before in a seated position, and do two things. Let me show you with this leg here right now. I want you to open the hips, so we turn the hips out to the right side, left side in your case, and back. So now, imagine that these two hip bones that are right up here in the front, ASIS, that we turn them forward or we turn them out. So to feel the difference between these two positions changes everything, yeah? So what we want is the standing foot to be looking forward, and we want both hips to look forward, yeah? So this is really important. If you're noticing that you're slightly turning out, and that's it today, good, no, don't worry about it. But I would love for us to really bring the left hip forward. This is, again, already, for some of you, you will feel a huge stretch already there. If the knee wants to bend, see if you can extend and bend again. Yes, extend and bend. All right, so let me go one more time to your leg. From here, what we want in this position is flex the ankle, flex the foot towards us. And if you can, spread your toes apart a little bit. Good. And now from here, don't do this. So we're not going down to the knee. We are tilting our hip back. Do you remember? I'm sorry, fourth, so the tailbone lifts up. It's a forward tilt in the hip. Do you remember we've done this on the chair? So we're tilting the hip forward, and already here you will feel an excellent stretch. If your hips stay forward, both looking to the front, if you are starting to tilt, you should have a huge increase all the way in the back of your leg here. Yeah? So try this out and see if you can just tilt the hips forward so that the sit bone, especially on that right side, extends out to the back. Yes, you can even take your hand under your bottom here and try to slightly lift it out. Can you feel the increase in stretch? And now notice if the left hip wants to open up, keep it forward. Good. This should be a huge, huge stretch. You do not need to go anywhere else. Yeah, this is an amazing deep stretch already, even for people who are already a little bit flexible. Good. And then slowly lift up. See how the stand feels right now. And then bend the knees slowly and switch to the other side. All right, shake the legs out for just one moment. Yeah? So a lot of details, but you're learning to stretch your hamstrings. And this version with the chair is amazing. Yeah? Totally great, because you can do this in between. You can do this in your kitchen. You can do this wherever you are. You don't have to have a whole setup and mat and roll out things. This we can do every day, 7, 8, 9 times a day. Okay, other side, mountain pose, one more time. Lift up the left leg. Extend the right heel. Good. And place it in one long line with your left hip bone onto the chair. Okay, again, we're starting by squaring. This is called squaring our hips. You will hear me say this very, very often. Yeah? Squaring the hips. And we're doing this by engaging our inner thighs. Yes. And staying completely square. Yeah? I know this looks very easy. These are all very, very complex movements. Yeah? Each one of these movements is complex. So don't worry if you cannot do this right now. Just think, wow, there's so much more to discover. This is different if I do it in a specific way. So we're learning to get more movement capability in our body. Okay, sternum up high, draw the chin in. From here, we are tilting the pelvis. Oh, and I feel this on my left leg a lot more. Tilt the pelvis, yes. So don't think I don't feel it. I feel it too, yeah? And here I can totally temper the stretch. So I know how to dial this on and off. I can go deeper if I want, even more. Or I can bring my right hip a little bit more forward and I press through the big toe mount. I press forward. Yes. And then I lengthen. Good. Deep breath in and exhale. You can leave your hands on your hips to remind yourself, I want the tilt. Take your left hand fingers onto your sit bone on that left side and try to extend it back. If this is too high, you can always go lower. Yeah? Let me show you how this would be. Stay there. You keep stretching. If this is too high, you can always go lower. And the way to do it is to put a block onto a chair, and you can do this from here. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody needs to be where they are. Yeah, don't go too far up high if this is too much. Since I can't see you, I don't know who's doing it. All right, slowly bend the knee. Wonderful. And release back down. Good. Shake the legs out and just walk for a moment. And feel if you feel any difference. Is there any difference in the way how your hamstrings feel? Let's go into a forward fold. So bend the knees. Open the feet a tiny little bit wider than hips width apart. Yeah, so hips width would be here for me. I'm just going about a good foot width wider. And then I'm bending my knees slightly and I am hinging in my hip. I'm doing exactly that, what we just did in our hamstring stretch. And extend the arms onto the edge of your chair and lengthen your whole entire spine. For just one moment, see if you can breathe, lengthen into your chest. Keep tilting your hip. So lift up the sit bones just like we did here. This is a little bit easier now. And now from here, we lower down slowly towards the ground. Keep that hip tilt and sit bones reach up high. And then breath by breath. Can we maybe go a bit deeper? Without pulling. Don't pull with the arms. We want to learn to stretch the hamstrings by using our own muscles to get into this position. Good. If the knees want to bend, allow them to bend a little bit. Stay on the balls of your feet. Wherever this is, do not worry where. If you're not as far as I am, don't worry at all. I don't want you to think you have to do this. This is going to be the result of long, dedicated practice. Good. Don't pull on your heels. Just let the core do this movement. And then slowly from here, come into a squatting position. Deep breath. And stand up slowly. Lift your chest, rib cage up high, and open back up. Yeah, very good. Yeah? So this version of hamstring stretch is really something that is a wonderful start to improve your asanas. Yeah? So instead of just folding forward and just keep doing the same asanas, folding forward, folding forward, folding forward, it would be better to do preparation exercises to stretch your hamstrings. And this way, on a chair, on a table, anywhere where you like, with your hips square, with your pelvis tilted, with the chest lifted upward, will create an amazing, really deep, directed stretch into the hamstrings. You should feel that. All right, wonderful. So let's go into our resting position. I would love to use the chair today for this position. I'm going to turn this over around. Let's see. There we go. Good. Now I'm going to bring my blanket over me, I think. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so here we go. Let's lay on our backs. There's so much more, yeah? But today, just one part in a little bit more depth so that you can take this into your own practice. We bring our legs onto the chair. And I want you to see if you can cover up yourself if you like. Cover yourself up with your blanket. The knees are bent in a 90-degree angle. Let me show you one more time. So the whole entire legs, the calf muscles and the lower legs are on the chair, or you can use a couch or whatever you like. Make sure that the legs are as close as possible in a 90-degree angle. So I don't want the legs to be too far down. As much as we can, 90-degree angle. All right, I'll cover myself up. Now comes the wonderful relaxing part. Shavasana. Corpse pose. One more time. I hope you have learned in the last few days in my classes that before you go into this deep relaxation, we lengthen the spine one more time. So make an effort to elongate and lengthen, to keep the legs in an equal angle, and to have the arms alongside your body in an angle that is as good as we can, the same on each side. Lift up your head, draw your chin in, and then let the head come back down. Remember what I have taught about our neck and the roll in our neck. I'm not going to repeat all of this right now. I trust that if you're interested, you will go back to some of the other teachings and find those little nuggets that yoga offers us if we practice with a deep desire to learn. So close your eyes again and soften your face. We have done the work. And now it's time to let go and feel the physical body surrendering to the ground, breath by breath. The exhale allows me to sink a little bit deeper. Into a peaceful and resting position. Notice your body as a whole one more time. The whole entire body as it's every part, everything that belongs to me. And then slowly shift your observation to your breath and see how your breath is probably very soft and maybe a little bit shallow. That's absolutely good. Yeah, do not try to deeply control it. No. Again, feel the 4 parts of our breath. Just like we started our class. And notice the difference between when we were sitting at the beginning of the class and now at the end. I can feel a very clear pause at the end of my exhalation, which is a lot longer than when we started and when we were sitting. And you might feel this too. And if you feel parts in your body that starts to tense up again, or where you feel like you're not completely relaxed, stay with those parts a little bit longer. And see if you can direct your breath into these parts, if you can calm the nervous system so that those parts can relax. This might be your lower back, it might be your shoulders and neck, it might be tension that we carry in the places where we usually carry them. And this is in the shoulder and neck area, in our lower back and hips. That's where most of us carry our attention. And in our upper back as well. So I hope you are still awake with me. You can still hear my voice and are not completely gone. And we slowly deepen our breath. Just very softly. A little bit wider, a little bit deeper. And just open your eyes. Don't move yet. Just open the eyes. And then close them again. Feel the difference between eyes open and eyes closed. Yeah, there's a huge difference in energy. And again, open your eyes. And see if you can take this relaxed, calm atmosphere that we have created within us and around us. See if you can take that with you into your day, into your night, whenever you're watching this. And we slowly awaken the body back to movement. I like to turn my head from side to side. Let my fingers and toes move. My wrists and ankles. Stretch out a little bit. Or do whatever you feel feels good to slowly awaken your body. If you ever feel very stiff in the mornings when you wake up, or even after Shavasana, it actually means that there is a lot of subconscious tension that you are holding in your body. And it's good to notice that, just to know, hey, when I try to relax, there's actually so much undercurrent of tension that I'm not aware of, but it is there, and you can feel that when you start to move again, it feels difficult. So we are learning to relax, yeah. And I have made a video, I think 2 days or 3 days ago about this. You should go back, and this would be a wonderful way to learn to relax. I have a feeling that a lot of us have so much tension that is subconscious and we're not aware of it. And it is really worth it to be noticing these things in your own body and actually be able to practice techniques that help us to dissolve some of the tension, which certainly is not just physical, it is grounded in emotional and often mental turmoil and chaos. And like right now, in these times where we're all dealing with the scare that we can feel all around us, yeah? That doesn't mean that we can't practice that. And I believe it's a very, very important part of our yoga practice that is often completely underestimated. So let's bring our palms together to the center of our heart. I end each and every practice, my personal practice and also in my classes, with gratitude. So no matter what's going on, no matter how much time you have for this, and I know some of you don't have time to do the full hour or 75 minutes, and that's okay. but this is part of your self-care routine. And if you don't have this, if you don't have the time to take care of yourself, then everything else is going to suffer. So instead of thinking, I don't have time for this, you need to think that this daily practice, this time that I spend on my mat is not time that is lost or that I am losing somewhere else. I am actually giving myself something. I am receiving and recharging. I am learning and growing. And if you have that in your life as something that is part of your daily routine, and I am very serious about this because I believe yoga is practiced in a daily, dedicated, disciplined practice. That's where we get all the goodness and the nuggets that change our life. Then it's not just exercises on a mat, but then it's a lifestyle that becomes part of who you are and not just what you do. And for that, I am always grateful, no matter what is going on in our life, that I'm able to practice, that this is part of who I am. And I hope that these classes can invite you to deepen your own practice with me. I will be here tomorrow at 12 o'clock. I would like to mention one more thing, that I do have a online group that since 2 years that has been practicing together. It's called My Inner Circle, the Emme Factor Inner Circle, and we are practicing exactly like this. We have a curriculum of monthly topics that I teach. We practice the whole year, 3 times a week. And the good thing is that I can see them and they can see me. So it's a little bit different from what I'm doing here, because I can see and help and enhance their personal journeys. So if you're ever interested in learning a little bit more about this, send me a message. You know where to find me. Until then, I will be practicing at 12 o'clock again, and I hope that you join me. Namaste.